So I'm thinking we'll pick up right where we essentially last saw Lara, in the treasure cave, essentially, of the Deep King. And it was, and to kind of re-describe the scene here for everybody and for your sake, because it has been at the very least a year since we've seen this moment. You had come down chasing your friends, your quote unquote friends. And after everything that Grozit had told you, and in that instance, while you're in this cave and you're chasing after them, trying to capture or put them down in whatever means that you and Grozit had decided upon, because the last you knew, they had just left you. While Thembershoud and the Deep King are fighting in the background, your friends have essentially run away. They've put you down in this position where you were put in a sphere of invulnerability, and you see them disappear through the slotted doors, through the smaller one beyond, and are now once again out of your reach. And as I had revealed before in the gambit, you land on the ground, and I want you to make a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Let's go. With advantage. Okay, cool. I got a +2. That's an 18 and a 14, so 18.
Okay. As you're laying there on the ground and you see your friends disappear through the door, there's almost this moment of celerity, like you've just woken up from the greatest nap of your life. Like your mind feels incredibly clear. There's no more fog seemingly over it. And I think that's in that moment, Lara is in full faculty of herself again. Everything that you've felt, everything that you've been processing, you realize that there has been something else at work upon yourself. And what do you think goes through Lara's mind first? You can still hear Thembershoud and the Deep King going off in the background. You hear the clattering of coins as they move about the space. But what are you thinking?
Lara is immediately thinking, who messed with my mind? Who did this to me? Why have I been under this fog? And I'm just now noticing it. How long have I even felt this way? And I'm sure she's thinking back, like, ever since I woke up in the Rollstone tunnels.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then her mind goes to, like, is my mind, like, protecting itself from everything that I went through there? Or is there somebody in the castle that is charming or, mind controlling people? She's running through the list of suspects.
Yeah. And everything that you've gone through, your new position as the commander of the Grey Dwarf army now, Grozit instilling that power in you and taking you under his, so to speak, wing and looking after you, and everything you've done up until that moment, you remember this with perfect clarity. There's nothing about those memories that's per se fogged, other than that general feeling of haze of like, yeah, there's something else happening here. But you recall all those details.
Okay. In this, in the Deep King's horde, then her first move would be to help the Deep King, but she's also thinking, I need to talk to Grozit about this because he'll help me.
Okay. You get yourself up, you dust yourself off, you immediately turn to assist with the Deep King and Thember Shroud, and you actually see them both in the background, unconscious, just spread amongst the coins. You see Thember Shroud, if you were looking back at them, is laying prone, just spread out to the right, and the Deep King is just in this deep crater to the left, because if you remember, he was flying about and he had a warhammer in one hand and he was fighting Thember Shroud. But not 20 feet away, you see Grozit standing there, and he has his arms kind of folded in front of his chest. Buried into a stack of coins is his greatsword, and he's just kind of looking at you, and he goes, Lara, it's wonderful to see you are all right. What happened?
She gives a look, because I can no longer see Sephel and Inigo. They're like long gone, is my understanding.
They have gone. They have gone out the door, and they are back into the city, you think.
Yeah. Grozit, we must speak. We need to take care of the Deep King, but something has been clouding my mind in the encounter with Indigo and Sephel, and they've left. But in that encounter, something has cleared in my mind. I've not been myself.
Oh. Do you think it's something of their doing? Something that they could have done to pull the wool over your eyes, perhaps?
It's possible. And she looks pretty upset about that, but she's not discounting it.
Yeah. I think he says to you, he goes, I understand perhaps hesitation in the idea that they could do such a thing to you, Lara, but considering they left you behind and now are ransacking the king's treasury, that's not something that I feel the friends you thought you knew would have done.
No, it isn't. Do we know what they took? Can I make like I know there's a lot of stuff here. Am I able to like...
Go ahead and make a general perception check.
Oh, well, hang on. That's a 17 minus 1 for 16.
Okay. You look about, and with the chaos of Thember Shroud and the Deep King fighting, and then the small fight that you had with the party, it's very hard to tell what exactly is missing. But you do spot a ooze-like figure semi-buried amongst some of the coins. And you know, when you came down here, there was 3 figures of that kind of makeup. And Grozit sees you looking around and he goes, have you spotted something?
There. And she will march toward this ooze figure. And I think she would know that they're probably going to... She would cast Hold Person on them.
Okay.
To make sure they couldn't leave.
All right, what do I got to do here?
That's going to be Wisdom saving throw, DC 15.
Okay. Fail with an 11.
Okay. So then she will... she uncovers them from this golden treasure and immediately pops a Hold Person on them. And if there's anyone else around, she would cast it on them as well, but it sounds like they're the only one that she could see.
It's the only one that you spot at the moment. Okay. Yeah.
Here, Grazit, and she will like, because I think she can manipulate them, so she would like attempt to like get them out into the open.
Sure.
Would I know of like, she would want to like imprison them so that they cannot move, but hold person only lasts so long.
Sure, I think with the...
This is like an interrogation thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally see where you want to go with this. I think with hold person, it's enough that... It's funny, in my head, I pictured you just like picking up a cutout of a person, just standing them up, and then dragging them just T-pose through the gold.
Yes.
In front of Grazit, and he kind of cocks his head to the side and goes, "Most interesting. And who might you be?" And he goes, "Thank you, Lara." And he snaps his fingers, and you can see like they become limp instead. Like whatever he's done here overpowers your own spell, and they go limp, and they I think because you weren't expecting it, they just kind of crumble to the floor. And he goes, "I think this one will do for some questioning, perhaps later, in a finer setting. Do you agree?"
Whatever you wish, Grazit. I will support. I would like to ask them questions of my own about their connection with Indigo and Sephel, if I may be present.
Oh, but of course, I think it is only fair that as commander that you oversee this particular duty. I have no problems with that. I do have other pressing matters concerning our king and the dragon. And you can tell, like, as he looks towards the two of them, he kind of sneers when he looks at Thembershoud. Because I will summon some assistance to help garner this prisoner to the cells for you. Unless you'd like to take them yourself.
No, it is fine. I do not need to. I can assist you with Thembershoud.
I think this is a job that I would prefer to do alone, if you don't mind. However, our dear king, I'm sure, could use an escort back to his throne room and his mistress.
Of course. And she will do so. When she grabs King Horgar, right?
Yep, you're right. Horgar.
Okay.
Horgar.
She picks up King Horgar, and she will escort him back to her room. But as she passes Grazit, I think she will pause and look at him and say, "Do you know what kind of magic it would have been to cause me to feel this fogginess for so long?"
Oh, well, there are a great manner of magics that could manipulate an individual. Oh, I think it takes someone of perhaps intermediate power to assert a little bit of control over another. I do believe that you spoke of one that carried significant capabilities in that matter within your own party, yes? A wizard could very easily manipulate another.
Sephel, yes.
Does he seem like the type that would do such a thing to another?
Perhaps once I would say no, but I am uncertain. And I don't like to be uncertain.
No, but of course not. No, nor I. So, let's wrap up this with a nice bow. Return the king and see to your nice new prisoner. Perhaps they'll have some answers for you, and I will come as soon as I am able, and we will suss all of this out.
Of course. And she will walk away with the king and take care of him before heading to the prisoner.
So you take the Deep King Horgar back to the throne room, and he's kind of just Make a medicine check for me, actually.
Medicine. 9.
Okay. He seems a bit out of it. You're not entirely sure if this is just because of the battle that he's gone through or something else, but he's kind of mumbling to himself. And some of what you pick up is he keeps saying, "It is but a dream. Horrible, horrible dream. My wife, where is she? Oh, where is my wife?" And he just keeps kind of going back and forth between those statements there.
Can through my Aasimar heritage, and she's quite literally the commander of his army, she would attempt to cast. She can cast Lesser Restoration, and she would do that here.
Okay.
To just help him in any way.
Read me Lesser Restoration's capabilities for removing stuff again.
Yeah. You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. But it says one disease or, I guess, one of those conditions, but...
Yeah. I think you're in the halls now. Relatively, like the halls and the staircases, making your way back up, because if you remember, the castle sits very high up above in these stalagmites and tights.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like making your way up one of the insides of one of these makeshift towers to the castle proper. And when you do this, something happens that surprises you, I would imagine, because you see that their eyes snap open, and probably for the first time in a while, it's almost like you're looking at yourself here. You see a moment of clarity come over his face, and he looks at you and he goes, "Who are you? What have you done with my wife? Where is that tall bastard? How dare... Where is the monster?" And he starts to panic, and then very, very quickly, you all of a sudden feel like this cold chill, and Grazit just appears beside you. And he kind of just very lightly caresses his 6-fingered hand over the back of the king's head, and you see the king just almost instantly calm, and he goes, "Oh, my dear lord, what has become of you? That insolent dragon has done quite a number on you. I think it's best, Lara, that I take our king and escort him perhaps back to his bedchamber and allow his wife and his surgeons to attend to him. If you don't mind, of course. That will allow you to return to your other more pressing duties and inquiries of your own."
Yeah, I think she's kind of like still... She is looking at the king, like trying to see if he's like... She's listening, but her eyes are on the king, and she's still like, is he even lucid? Trying to figure that out. I was just say after that she would respond to him, but I think it would be like a second more of a delay than normal.
Yeah. What's your passive perception or / insight, and then
Not good.
what is your what's the other passive? I always forget about passives. There's an intelligence one, right?
Passive intelligence investigations on here.
Okay.
I've got passive perception, passive investigation, passive insight.
Right. I will say you could do either of those, or you can turn this into an active check, because you did describe that you were delaying yourself. So if you want to put more of a mental focus on this, you can roll an insight or investigation here.
Yeah, I'm going to do the active check.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, man. 12. It's better.
It's enough. It's enough to notice this, like, thin white film just kind of go over the king's dark purple eyes so that they almost turn into like this gray, and his mouth becomes a little more slack-jawed. And he doesn't speak. He just kind of sits there looking at you, just almost like a dead fish. Like, I hate to use that description, but just
Yeah.
like he's definitely not there before you respond.
Okay. The king requires care which I do not believe I can provide. I may have made him worse just now. He inquired about his wife, and I didn't have the immediate answer to give him. I'm afraid my people skills leave something to be desired.
Oh, that's something that anybody can work upon, my dear. Do not fret about it. And he, like, begins to turn away, and then he turns back towards you, and his very large frame, he stands at 9 feet tall, kind of bends down to you, and his large obsidian hand comes up and just like cups your chin in a very light caress, and he has these longer nails as well, and he goes, "Are you quite all right, my dear?"
I worry about what my mind has missed, but I will be fine. I will take care of our prisoner. And I think she will pull back and go to leave.
Okay. He goes, "Well, do not be afraid to call should you need anything."
Of course.
And you depart, and he doesn't pursue you, but you don't hear his footsteps or the king's footsteps behind you. I think we're going to leap a little bit forward now to this moment in the jail cell, unless there's something else that Lara would want to do.
No. She is business as usual.
Yeah. Okay. So you make your way there to the jail cells. You see that there is a singular guard stationed near the cell doors, and you would recognize this figure as part of kind of the one of the elusive forces that the Deep King keeps. This is a figure that is part of the company known as the Dark Halves. DARKHAFTS. And you would know of them only because of your new status as commander. They're a secret corps of psionic agents, and they often travel with merchants or with groups of spies, and they're essentially like CIA for the Deep King. Not that they're any less fierce in a fight than, say, the Stone Guard, which are the kind of like overall policing force and militia of Gracklestug.
Just different skills.
Different skills, absolutely. And this is just to kind of fill in the rest of your knowledge. There's a sect called the Kavalrakni. So it's KAVALRACHNI. And they are a group that ride. They're like the cavalry, essentially, of the Grey Dwarves, and they ride the giant tarantulas known as steeders.
Okay.
And then there are the Zarorn, or Arorn. It's XARRORN. And they train with the flame lances that you have noticed amongst the militia throughout Gracklestug as well. They're that special weapon that, when making contact, can explode and are imbued with a certain amount of fire magic. And they are kind of like special forces amongst everybody else.
Okay.
So you see this dark haft outside the door to this cell. You don't recognize them. You haven't met this particular dark haft before. They are wearing black leathers. They have very much think like Upper Thieves Guild if you played Skyrim at all.
Yeah.
They've got a mask over the lower half of their face. They have a hood. They have a bandolier of daggers. They have a number of pouches and pockets all over their equipment. And they don't say anything to you at first, but they bow and kind of keep themselves rigid and ramrod and wait by the door, kind of awaiting your order, if you have one for them.
Yeah, I think Lara like examines them and takes in like who they are and their status and everything. Identify yourself.
I am Mesmer of Clan Saltbaron, sir.
Call me sir.
Everybody addresses you that way unless you say otherwise.
Oh. Do I assume I know like Clan Salt Baron?
Yep. So there are a huge amount of clans within Gracklestug. You would know Salt. Did I say Saltburn?
Sorry, I heard Salt Baron.
Thank you. Okay, the light was on it, and I was like, I hope I didn't say Saltburn. It is Saltburn. Yeah. They are often affiliated amongst the mining clans, and they are specifically known for being the experts on how to extract salt. It's very original. And this wouldn't go too far from what you know of the Dark Halves kind of being the spies and being part of any clan that could be affiliated with outside reach or merchants for that matter. So you don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with their name or their affiliation.
Okay, cool. But they aren't common around.
No.
Or they okay.
No. For one to be out in the open like this is, I mean, to you is not necessarily uncommon because you are the commander. Like, besides, unless Grazit appears and gives them an order in disguise or the king does, orders come from you. Yeah. So, like, they would have to come out of hiding. They're, the best other way to describe it is psychic ninjas. Essentially, that's how I've pictured it. Like, they're in the shadows, they will just appear out of nowhere. They can, manipulate people at the whim of their mind.
Know he's got the mobile feet.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So he says that you are here on assignment.
I have been assigned to watch over you, madam. Recent orders.
How recent?
Within the last hour.
By Grazit?
He wouldn't recognize the name Grazit.
Oh, okay.
But I imagine when you say that, the new alias as the king's cousin comes out of your mouth. It kind of like muffles over it, and he goes, "Yes, madam. Only as a means of being an aid to your company."
Can I insight that?
100%, yeah.
Again, I'm not great at it, so.
All good. The
11.
Okay. You think he's telling the truth?
Okay.
But, I mean, you're his commander, so.
Right. I do not need to be watched.
Of course, madam.
Have you spoken to the prisoner?
No, madam.
Good.
Sir, I apologize, sir. He's like, for this indiscretion, I will end my life. Sephel himself. Another one.
And I will
pops
resurrect
up.
you so you can do it again. Yeah. Okay, then she will step past Mesmer and enter into the cell with this individual.
Okay.
Are they still unconscious?
Nope, they're awake now.
Okay.
They sit on a bench in the back. All their belongings are taken, so they have this vaguely humanoid looking form going on, but you can see their body kind of moves as you would expect of something ooze-like.
Okay. What were you doing in the king's treasure room?
I got lost. Horrible time. Not exactly sure how I got there. Just took a tumble, really.
I think she just like crosses her arms and stares at him for a minute in this like uncomfortable silence.
And you're not sure if he's looking back at you. I think that's that
ooze.
wonderful part of the ooze, as Wizards of the Coast have described them. Like, they don't necessarily have eyes, so you just think he's looking at you, and he like picks up a vague hand and kind of scratches at his head form. He goes, "No, truly. Have you seen the palace? It's ridiculous. So many twists and turns. Had no idea. First day on the job as a servant. Really, can't believe I've wound up in this mess."
A servant.
Mm-hmm.
You realize who I am, right?
No. I do apologize for that. You do seem to have a bit of power and authority here. So I'm very sorry. Again, first day on the job, just got here to Gracklestug. The name's Mike, by the way.
Mike.
I was just here to mop up the floors. I don't know what happened to my mop either.
Did he have anything on him?
He had, you would recall that he had what looked like kind of semi-padded clothing, like armor on, but it was hard to say because of the way his form moves. Other than that, you didn't say anything, but you could ask Mesmer to search through his belongings, or do so yourself if you'd like.
Mesmer will do a full investigation of you. Mesmer, and she like gestures for him to come in and start like pawing through everything.
Okay. Yeah, Mesmer comes into the cell, brings in that kind of vest, jerkin-esque style armor, and immediately starts sifting through it and laying it down on one of the benches, and you see that there is a ring of keys. You see there's a couple lockpicks. You see there is a dagger. You see there's one or two gold coins, and as those are being pulled out, Mike is immediately like, those are not mine. I haven't been paid yet. That must have just gotten into my pocket from wherever I was apprehended. Scary stuff, by the way. I didn't think there'd be a dragon, and then the king, and then you, and then the duke, the king's cousin. That was a lot. Seriously, worst first day ever.
How long do you think I will listen to you babble, Mike?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be helpful.
I've never had to interrogate a plasmoid.
Oh, well, we're all very good-natured. We don't like getting into trouble. So that's probably for the best,
Did I say interrogate? I meant torture.
Oh, madam, really. The most I could have to tell you is which rooms I cleaned, and the one meal I observed of the Deep King. Otherwise, I could just tell you of the swamps that I've crawled out of, and then...
Enough!
Okay.
I think she will conjure Grazit's blade, her packed weapon. And then she will approach and say with a softer voice, I want to know, without your babbling and your lies, a straight answer, what you were doing here, and how you know Indigo and Sephel.
Those names don't ring a bell, and I was here cleaning rooms.
I would like to cast Fear.
Okay. I'm assuming that's wisdom based.
It is.
Or charisma.
You project a. It doesn't.
Ooh.
Oh, it is. It is a save. Wisdom. Yeah, wisdom save. You project a phantasmal image of the creature's worst fears, and then they have to make a whiz save or become frightened.
Okay. It takes like 2 seconds, but immediately their like form just flies across into the farthest corner of the cell away from you, and now they're just kind of a blob, and it's like they're trying to peel themselves up the wall, getting as far away from you as possible. They're like, no, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, please put it away, I'll tell you what you want, please put it away.
You will tell me now, and then it may leave.
Fine.
Why were you here?
Fine, I was part of a small group that had heard of dragon eggs held by the king. That is what we wanted. We came into contact with the others that you spoke of. They were interested. They held such an egg. We wished to use them to infiltrate the castle and get into the treasury. That is all. It all went to shit. We had no idea that the treasure room was trapped. Please.
She will. That phantasmal image stands where it is, and then she will approach with Grozit's blade and point the tip of it like under their like plasmoid chin area and kind of tilt up their face so that they're looking in her eyes. You say we. How many of you are there?
There's two others. That is all. It's just 3 of us. We are relatively newcomers here to the city. We had hopes to perhaps grow a guild here. One to grow fat off the riches of these foolish dwarves, but I see we were incorrect on this.
And where were you going after? Should you succeeded, where would you have gone?
A small abandoned house in the city proper. That's all. We were going to steal the other egg from those that we had tricked to coming here, or leave them behind to die by the military's hand. That is what we were planning to do. And if all else failed, we were going to run, leave the city as fast as possible. There are other places that could be robbed. There's no need to lose our lives here.
Mesmer, I need a map of the city now.
And Mesmer does. They whip out a map for you, and if we look at Roll20 here, you see the entire map.
Okay. She will take the map from Mesmer and hold a quill out for Mike. You will mark down every location you have mentioned.
Of course. And he circles on the map, if you can see it. He goes, that was our hideout. That was where we would hope to base our operations. Just across the furrow. I swear we've hardly done anything just other than pick the pockets. We learned from some of the Darrow servants and underlings of the Deep King's treasures. That is all.
And this is the abandoned house, or is that a different building?
That is the abandoned house that we made into our hideout. I promise. I swear.
She nods. Mesmer, we should go now. And she will exit the room with the map. Wait for Mesmer to exit as well, and then she will lock the prison door and walk away without lowering the phantasmal image.
And as you're leaving, and these aren't just like regular cells as we would kind of classically picture, they are just straight up iron doors. There's no slits. It just fits seamlessly into everything, which is perfect because plasmoids can usually skirt out of anything. So you hear just like the muffled screaming in the background. Just, no, please. Just on and on and on until you're far enough away. And Mesmer strides. It's enough. It's enough. Yeah. And then you just like, as you're leaving that section of the castle, you just hear whimpering from behind. But Mesmer strides behind you silently. Doesn't say a word, but just follows your lead.
Yeah, I want to go to Mike's little stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what he said, they have an egg, or they wanted to get the egg, which from what we know happens, they do get the egg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the red dragon egg. And as far as you know, you haven't recovered the 2 other companions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just heading straight there. There's nothing in the castle, no other business you're attending to, Commander. I'm not trying to be leading, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think this feels too important to wait. Because if Indigo and Sephel are there, she doesn't necessarily want a whole retinue with her. She might on her way out, like, grab 2 guards to take with her.
Okay. Mesmer stops as you're about to leave the castle, and he goes, "Sir, would you care for us to be cloaked before we move through the city?" And you know that the Grey Dwarves can go invisible for a while.
And they can help me do that? I mean, I know invisibility.
They can, as a natural ability, put it on themselves. They can't do it to others. Mesmer might be able to. You don't know unless you ask.
Okay, I'm not gonna worry about being invisible myself. I want everyone else that's with me to be invisible, and I want, like, Mesmer for sure, like, and then, like, a couple other guards, and whoever Mesmer wants to grab is fine.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, like, if we go in there and there are 2 plasmoids there, I'm going to need to shackle them and bring them back. Prison them.
Sure. Okay. Mesmer nods and goes, "As you wish, sir." And the 3 of them disappear from sight, but you know that they are sticking close to you. And as you are making your way across the city, every once in a while you hear Mesmer's voice kind of pick up from beside you and goes, "Madam, I have had another join our ranks, just in case."
Yeah, she'll nod at that. I think her cloak is up, so she doesn't want to draw attention.
Yeah. Anybody that sees you, this dark, tall, hooded figure coming through the streets, almost immediately gets out of your way, except for 1 or 2 people. But generally, like, once they see you stalking through the streets, people move aside. And you eventually reach the outside of the door of this 2-story dilapidated building. One of the few that you see, but towards the Dark Lake district, it's not entirely uncommon for something like this to happen, especially for those families that oppose royal rule or have committed horrible crimes. Like, everything gets cleaned out and then new citizens are moved in. What would you like to do?
They get close to the building, and she says, in the direction of where she thinks Mesmer is, "Surround the building, no one leaves. I will be entering the front door."
Of course. And you wait a couple moments, and you hear Mesmer's voice come back to you from a little ways away and goes, "It is done, sir."
Yeah, she nods, and Lara approaches the door, and she knocks.
There's no response.
Okay. Is the door unlocked?
Do you try it?
Yeah.
It is unlocked.
I think if there's a window, she will peek in first.
Okay. There is around about along the other wall, so you'd have to go around the corner to see it, but you peek in and it's very dust and soot covered.
Abandoned.
But you manage to look in and you see, like, the destroyed remnants of what looks like a kitchen dining room and living room. Like, it's all open concept. You see broken furniture, chairs, tables, bits and pieces. You see that there are old, like food wrappers and different things like that. Detritus just everywhere. And then you see in the far back corner, there's stairs that go up.
She will she's going to go back to the front door and she will open it and step in.
Okay.
As she does so, she will call out confidently, "If you wish to see your friend again, no longer locked up within the king's castle, you will show yourselves now." And she'll wait.
Make a perception check.
Okay. 14.
You don't hear anything.
Okay.
However, you feel a presence come up behind you. And you're just, I imagine you're just inside the doorway.
Yeah.
And you hear the very whispered voice of Mesmer say to you, "Madam, may I have permission to touch my mind with yours as a better mean of communication in this silence?"
She nods.
And I want you to make an Arcana or an Insight check.
Arcana for sure.
Okay.
15.
When you feel Mesmer's mind touch yours, there's something about it. It's like, it's really odd for you. And perhaps depending, I mean, you tell me, but it's, have you ever found an old pair of shoes that you thought you lost? Mm-hmm. And you put them on and your foot slides right in and settles into, you know, the molding that you created before, and it fits perfectly once again.
Yeah.
Something about this connection oddly feels intensely familiar. And the sensation of like a breeze touching your face, just kind of like that physical memory kind of happens at the same time, of like fresh air and the wind sweeping your hair and blowing across your face.
Yeah, I think in that moment, Lara is transported back to when she was above ground. The air was everything to her because that was Kayan.
Mm-hmm.
But he's now in her mind, like telepathically.
Yeah. He pretty quickly his voice comes to you and goes, "Madam, I don't sense any other presences here, but I do believe there is magic somewhere within this house, perhaps." And there's a moment, I believe, on the second floor.
She will nod, and she can speak telepathically back, right? Or not? Okay. Can I? This is like a very obscure question.
Sure.
Feeling that connection between their minds, can she like? Is there like? So there's a connection there, but there's also like a familiarity. Can she like explore that familiarity? Like, is there any way for her to like understand anything about Mesmer through this connection that's now been? I know it's like a very.
No, but I love it. I love it. I want there to be some kind of roll for it.
Yeah, fair.
Roll me
maybe athletics.
I was gonna make it a charisma check actually,
okay,
because that's kind of that's linked to your power, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think it's only fair that that's where you would reach for it, is because charisma is kind of like this natural rhythm within you and connection. So go ahead and roll me a straight up charisma check with all the bonuses that go with it.
That's a 19.
Describe how you reach out with your mind towards
Well, this is just how I'm imagining it.
Yeah, like, this is what I want. This is what I want to hear.
To me, this is like there's this connection between their minds, and I think that in Lara's mind, she's envisioning it almost like, you know, you can, like, some people like see their words as they're speaking them, and like there's kind of like that self-talk and all that. So I think that this is like a tether that she can see in her mind, and she's literally like following that tether in her mind until she gets to what she can only assume is Mesmer's mind at the other end of this like road tether. And I think she's trying to like understand what it is at the other end. Like she's trying to like, maybe it's like a door in her mind, she's trying to like open it and peek within, or like trying to just like sensory anything.
Yeah, it's really cool the way you described it, because in my head I pictured it almost like did you ever have they might have phased this out when we were both younger, but there used to be like gym classes where you would have to climb a rope all the way up to the ceiling. Do you remember that?
I remember never being able to do it.
Same. I wasn't that athletic as a kid.
Yeah.
But that's almost what I pictured, was like you trying to climb in a way this like tendril between you two, as you're trying to picture this until you eventually come to this point where I think this, because this is the mind and how Lara envisions it, I do imagine that there is a door.
Mm-hmm.
But when you reach the door, have you ever seen when, with like a fire or a storm is going on, have you ever seen a wooden door actually begin to like bow inwards towards the center? Like you can see that there's some force behind it. You see that door. That's how you picture it, as like the entrance into Mesmer's mind, and you can hear it like, and the door is like expanding towards you. And I picture all around this door is almost like a wall. Like that's what like blocks everybody. And then the door is that connection that allows the two. And you can see this tendril go in like through the keyhole of this door, but you can see that there's some kind of force that is pushing it and is like desperate to come out. But for some reason, Mesmer's door, he's trying to keep it closed, but there's a lot going on behind it.
Okay. All right. She doesn't have time to think about that too much right now. Okay, so then she's going to go up the stairs after he said this, and she will like nod. I don't think she feels the need to say anything. She's just gonna head up the stairs. And he mentioned that there's magic up here. Can I make a check for that? I don't have like detect magic or anything, but I just want
to. Yeah, go ahead and make me another Arcana check. Let's see if just like your general arcane knowledge can help you pinpoint anything that might stand out.
14.
You go upstairs and you see that there's a couple of doors. 2 of them are open, 1 of them is closed. In this hall that you enter into. The 2 open ones lead into disheveled bedrooms where you can see like semi-broken beds, and mattresses of a sort have been like pushed up to the corners. You can see that somebody's clearly been living in here in squalor. And that's the same for the 2 open doorwayed rooms. Nothing particular sticks out to you in them, other than you can see signs that someone's been living there and eating there and sleeping there.
Okay.
But there's the 3rd closed door.
Okay. She will approach that door and say to Mesmer, I will be opening this shortly. Watch my back.
Of course, sir.
And she is going to throw the door open if it's unlocked. And she's like fully prepared. I think her sword is out first. She throws the door open, and then like basically walks in very confidently, prepared to attack anyone who might be in here.
Totally. There's nobody here, but you do see that there are 2 windows in this room where the other 2 bedrooms didn't. And both windows are open and they look out to the streets. If you look back at Roll20, I'll mark where they look out. I'll put little drawn blue arrows. One points to what would be the west and one points to the north. And you see that there are a couple crates sitting in this room.
Like, I think that they probably use the crates to get out the window?
They're not by the windows. They're in another corner of the room near the bed that inhabits this room. Sorry, I didn't describe that well.
No, all good.
The 2 windows are open. Like, shutters are pushed out.
She will immediately rattle off orders telepathically to Mesmer. Did anyone see anyone leave these windows?
Just a moment, sir. And then there's a pause, and then you hear from Mesmer. No, madam. Sir, nobody has seen anyone leave the premises.
Send out 2 squads in each direction. I want them found. And then she will go over to the crates. And, well, she presumes that he's doing that. I'd like to open them.
Okay. You pop open the top one, and you see, kind of stashed in amongst some straw, is a number of short swords. And you see that there are ropes and ball bearings, caltrips. Kind of, you would assume that this is definitely the accoutrement of thieves. Like, pretty classic attire. You even notice that Mesmer had some of these kind of things. You see that there's grappling hooks as well, pitons, hammers, all sorts of stuff. Until you dig into the last box, where you see nestled in the middle of the straw is a small bag, and beside it is a folded piece of paper.
Oh no. She will reach for the paper. What's it say, Will?
It's a note, and it says, "To whoever comes and finds this, we are truly sorry. And as a means of good faith, please accept the return of a most important item. We have nothing else and have left the city. Please excuse our most horrible crimes." And there's no signatures.
Seems they've left us trash. And then she will reach for the bag.
Looks like a nicely decorated leather drawstring bag.
She will open it. Is there anything in it?
You just see darkness as you look into it. And you would recognize this as a bag of holding when you open it and see nothingness inside.
Mesmer.
Yes, sir.
Leave the room.
Of course, sir. And you see just the door all of a sudden close.
I don't trust this motherfucker.
You're still tethered in mind. All of this communication has been telepathic. If you want to try to open up the door or sense their or give them an insight check, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, I'll go insight.
Okay.
17.
You feel their presence just on the other side of the wall, and within this connection, which is odd that they haven't broken it to you, you feel a sense of curiosity hiding a large amount of concern.
Okay. I want to do two things. The first, I want to open the bag of holding and call forth a dragon egg and see if it works.
You put your hand in and you think of a dragon egg, and you just feel this hard, almost like porcelain feeling come underneath your hands of something very large.
Okay, so I'm pretty confident that's in there.
If you were to like move your hand, and as you look in there, you see the glistening red of a very familiar looking egg.
Okay, she won't actually pull it out. She's gonna leave it in there.
Okay.
But she doesn't want anyone to know that she has that bag of holding with the egg in it. So she's going to put that somewhere, the small leather pouch. She assumes it's easy to hide on her person, so she will do so.
Okay.
And then I would like to go back. So Mesmer's on the other side of the door. I would like to put on a short performance where I want Lara to. She's going to whip a eldritch blast at the wall, yell out in like pain, wait for the door to open. When it does, she's going to cast daylight to like it's going to be this like quick, like boom, 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 like shocking. And as soon as all this happens, she wants to open that door in his mind.
Ooh.
So it's like this big distraction and then attempt to like figure out what's going on.
All right. You cast Eldritch Blast. Blows against the other side of the wall or one of the windows. You're yelling out in pain?
She's gonna. Yeah, I don't know that Lara's a great performer, but it's gonna be kind of like.
Sure. Go ahead and roll performance.
Okay.
We'll add some dice to this. I think what you're doing is going to absolutely add to it, so don't worry about it.
14 is performance.
14? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll a die to see how much you add on with that. Okay. You call out, you throw this blast, all of a sudden the door whips open and you see Mesmer drop out of invisibility as he like runs in quickly, and you see like this look of concern over their eyes and their half-masked face, and they're like, "Sir, what's..." And then you're casting daylight.
Yeah, so I want it to be like they're blinded for a second, and in that moment when they are concerned, blinded, very distracted, that's when she does it.
Okay. They burst in, they're like, "Sir, what's..." You cast daylight, and it's like a flashbang has just gone. They're instantly just like, "What?" And you, in your mind, reach in that bowing strong door. You grab the door handle, and like you can feel this like lock in it. Go ahead and make me an athletics check at advantage because you've distracted him in so many ways.
Needed that advantage. That was a 9. Okay, 19.
All right, total 19 total.
Yeah, 19 total.
Okay, you turn that doorknob so hard you hear the lock break, just snap, and all of a sudden just this huge force, you get thrown back as you are pelted with water and hurricane force winds that all of a sudden just blow onto you. And you're like, your eyes are distracted for a moment, like you're blinking, it's hard, all this stuff is hitting you in the face. You feel like branches and leaves and hail are just peltering you in the face, and then your eyes open for a second. And what you see beyond this door frame and into the distance of Mesmer's mind is you see a cyclone, a whirling cyclone ripping through fields and forests, and within the midst of this you see this storm take form into this monstrous, almost humanoid-like form, and you're not sure exactly how it's taking place or how it's looking until you see this, like the top of the cyclone kind of weave back and forth until it turns, and then you just see this dark face with these two glowing bright eyes that look at you, and you just hear this figure just, and then you are instantly disconnected. But you feel like that figure was Kehen. And that's where we'll end this one.
Fuck! Damn, Will!
Damn, son!